Hi everybody, it's Richard here again, and today I am going to show you my David Bowie 7-inch picture disc records. I have an awful lot of, quite a few 7-inch records in general. David Bowie, I've amassed quite, well, over 100 of his anyway, but I love 7-inch singles. I very rarely play them now, but I think it's just because it takes me back to whenever I was a kid and I had some money and all I could afford was one 7-inch single, and I took my time over which one I was going to buy. But we all know that picture discs are not the best quality sounding. They never have been, and even with ones printed today, they're still not great, but they are nice to look at. So I'll show you what I've got with regards to David Bowie and picture disc. First thing is this pack here. It's a pack of 10 picture discs released in 1982, and it's called Fashions, and it has, as I say, 10 discs. To be honest with you, I can't really remember which ones are which. Like there's Space Oddity, the Genie, Driving Saturday, Life on Mars, Sorrow, Golden Years, Sound and Vision, Ashes to Ashes, Boys Keep Swinging. It's a nice piece to have, but again, I never play it. So, next up, this might take a while because I've got a few of these. From 1983, China Girl with a B-side, Shake It. From 1986, Absolute Beginners, the B-side's just an instrumental of the title track. We got 1987 and Never Let Me Down, with the B-side is 87 Don't Cry. And then the worst remix ever in the history of remixes, Fame 90 by David Bowie. This was on the Pretty Woman soundtrack. It's awful. This was between the two Tin Machine albums, and he wanted to get away from that horrible 80s sound, but what did they do? They remixed this into a horrible 80s sound. Now, we're coming out of the vinyl age and jump up to 1919, actually 2000, this was released. This is Survive from the Hours album, and this is a Marius to Somebody or Other remix. Listen, there's so many remixes I haven't a clue who does what. I don't know whether I should call this actually a picture disc or not, but this is The Next Day. It's more like a white vinyl, but it gets shown. Then we have Valentine's Day from The Next Day, 7-inch picture disc. And then we have quite a rare one. It's Lady Stardust from the David Bowie Is in Japan, with the B-side of it, Crystal Japan. It's a sought after piece. You can get it, but it's quite expensive. And then recently he released this, the David Bowie's Zeros, not Heroes, Zeros, which is a new recording from the 2018 Never Let Me Down album. I don't really want to get into that album because I've mixed views about it, but one of the highlights is Zeros, which is much better than the original version from the original album. Now, those are my stray singles. This is my box of jewels when it comes to picture discs. In 2012, I think he was with EMI. They started doing 40th anniversary picture discs of his singles, and they started off on the RCA label, but they didn't start off with the first single. They started off with the second single, which is very surprising. I don't understand why, but that's the way it went. But the first one to come out, and probably the most sought after one in my collection, is Starman, with the B-side, the Top of the Pops version. Again, I've never played this, I never will play it. I know what each song sounds like, including the B-side, so there's no reason. So this is just a piece to have. So that's Starman. Next one came up 2012, John I'm Only Dancing. And the B-side of this is the far superior sax version, which was released as a single. Well, it wasn't actually released, it was continued. It wasn't deleted as a single in '73 as the same Matrix number, but they used a different recording, and to be honest with you, it's better. So that's John Only Dancing. Next one up, the Genie. And the B-side of this is the rare Top of the Pops performance version of it, as you can see from there. That's a still from it, sorry about the glare. So that's it. It's nice to have these, it's just nice to take them out and take a look at them. Then one of my favourite singles of his, Drive-In Saturday. This was a record store release, just like the Starman, which means I had to pay a little bit more for this because whenever this came out there was no record stores anywhere near me, and so I had to go on eBay, and well, we won't go into the flippers, but anyway, I got it. And the B-side of this is a version he did on a TV chat show called Russell Harty. And then next we have Life on Mars. And the B-side of this, I believe, is a live version from 1983. And I actually saw David Bowie live during the Serious Moonlight tour in Scotland. Next up, Sorrow from his Pin-Ups album, and I think there's a live version of this as well. Yep. God, I need glasses. So, David Bowie, Sorrow. These are all 40th anniversaries, so next one up, Rebel Rebel. This actually features the, well, until now, hard to get single mix. Every album that you would have bought from Diamond Dogs onwards, Changes Won't Go Away, etc., always had the album mix. The single mix is a duller mix. Some say it's better. I don't. I think it's actually quite weaker, but we have Rebel Rebel. We have another Rebel Rebel. I don't know how I got two, but I did. Then we had another record store release, which was released in the UK in 2014. This is Rock and Roll Suicide. B-side of this, I think it's a live version from David Live. Oh no, maybe it's actually the live version. No, it's the live version from, I think it might be the live version from the Ziggy Stardust the Motion Picture. I'm not sure, to be honest with you. But on the same day in America, they released this one. This is 1984. This I always thought should have been a single over here. It never was. This was more or less that showed the way he was going towards his Young Americans album. It's a rather cool disc, but I had to get this imported from the US and it cost a fortune. Next up, in the UK, Diamond Dogs. And a really cool back cover, if you can see it. This actually plays 33 RPM because Diamond Dogs single is actually over 6 minutes long, which a lot of people don't realise it is that long. And then we have, from David Live, Knock on Wood. And whenever I ordered this online, I think I ordered it through the website, you got a free facsimile of a ticket from around the time of the David Live shows, the Philadelphia shows. So that's Knock on Wood. That's a forgotten about single, you know, nobody ever remembers that. It's very rarely on any compilation albums. Got top 10 as well in the UK. Next up, Young Americans. And the B-side of this is, what is the B-side? Yeah, It's Gonna Be Me. It's a song I absolutely adore. Now the version of It's Gonna Be Me on this is the one with the strings on it, which is not quite as good, but It's Gonna Be Me. It now features on the Geister album on the box set of 5 years. It was a bonus track on the Rygo CDs, but great song. Both songs are great. Then up, they realised, hey, we started this reissue program and we missed out the first single. So they reissued the first single for Record Store Day on RCA, which is Changes. This never charted anywhere in the world until after his death, when it got to about number 40 something, which is ridiculous really. And the B-side of this is 8-line poem. It seems a little bit out of place in the reissue program, but I'm glad they did in the end. Next up, Fame, the big number 1 hit in America, top 20 in the UK. Yeah, the one that was co-written by John Lennon and Carlos Alomar. In fact, Carlos Alomar nicked the riff for Foot Stompin', which you can get on the Many's a bootleg. Bowie actually performed it on the Dick Cavett show. Yeah, good song. Not his best single. And then in the UK, in '75, they reissued this and it shot to number 1. This is Space Oddity, but this is a copy of the French picture sleeve cover. So there you go, Space Oddity. After Space Oddity, there's not that many to go here, so bear with me. Golden Years, again quite a big hit in both in the UK and in the US. Very soul influence from the excellent Station to Station album. And then Record Store Day came again, and we had TVC 15, which is the worst song on Station to Station. I know a lot of people love it, but I just think it's quite weak actually, and it destroys the album a little bit. So there's TVC 15. Now they actually missed one out because whenever in '76 David Bowie released Changes 1 Bowie, and there was a single that was released in the UK to promote it, which was Suffragette City. It never got the 40th reissue, unfortunately, on picture disc. It wasn't a hit. That was probably why it did fail to chart altogether. And I think in America, no, I'm not too sure actually if they released anything to promote Changes 1. I was going to say Stay, but they wouldn't have because it's not on the album. But anyway, so the next one to come up was in 2017, and we have Sound and Vision from Low, one of his best ever singles. One of the best introductions as well. Maybe should have used that for Jeff Campton. And then the follow up to that, which was a major flop here, it didn't chart, was Be My Wife. And then in '77 again, I have 2 copies of this. Heroes, probably his most famous song. Never made the top 10 in the UK. On its original release, it never made the top 20 either. Got to about 25 or something, or 24. It managed to get to number 12 on the week after he died, but does that really count? Still, brilliant song. And another version of Heroes. We're nearly there. Then in '78, the second single from the Heroes album came out, and that's Beauty and the Beast. And lastly, but not least, the single from the stage album Breaking Glass, which is a 4-track EP now. So that's the last one that was released. That was released actually at the end of last year. So the next one due, that's probably in a month or so, is Boys Keep Swinging. So I hope you enjoyed that. It's just going through some of my 7-inch picture discs, and thanks again, and hope to see you soon. Bye.